Welcome back to BaldHeaded Metal, guys. My name is Joseph, and today I want to introduce a very special guest on our first podcast. Welcome, Howdie from Bloodspot, the guitarist, one of the guitarists in Bloodspot. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for doing this, man. This is going to be really exciting for me.
Yes, for me too. I'm really looking forward to our meeting, and yeah, I'm really very happy to be here.
Heavy metal meeting, right?
Heavy metal meeting, absolutely.
You know what? As I started I actually got discovered by you guys. One of the commentators down below, I didn't know what videos to do, what bands to cover. And this guy, Ian Spees, I actually want to give him out a shout out. He goes like, you guys, you should react to Bloodspot. They're fucking awesome. You're going to like it. It's right up your alley. I'm like, I have nothing other music to react to. I'm like, sure, okay. I didn't have any expectations, to be honest. And when I
Yeah,
did, it's
okay.
like, fuck, this is right up my alley.
Yeah, cool.
And then
Good guy.
good guy, right?
This how is he called?
Ian Spees, if I'm
Ian
pronouncing
Spees.
if I'm pronouncing his name on YouTube correctly. But he was the one encouraging me. He's like, do more, do the other songs too. It was awesome. And I wanted to ask. I was trying to get some research and kind of find out, how did you guys form? Like, how did you guys come together as a band together? How did it all happen?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So it started in 2006, and our drummer Björn, he had before a cover band, and I was looking for a band. I didn't have a band at this time, but I had some songs already, 2 3 song ideas, and I was looking for a band, and they had like an how is it called, on an internet platform, like
Like SoundCloud or
no, it was very early. SoundCloud, it didn't exist back in the years. It was like a forum. What is it?
uh
I don't, just like a platform where you can
free
search for
music?
other musicians.
To
Yeah,
search for musicians. Yeah.
yeah. And so they searched for a guitarist, and I met up with them, and I played one gig with this cover band, and um, and then this project broke up, and we were searching for a new rehearsal room, and yeah, we ended up in a very special area in Limburg. It's an old industry area with a lot of bands practicing there, and there's a lot of art going on, and theater and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we got this room there, and just jammed my ideas i I had, and yeah, and we were the rest from this cover band. It was like Björn and me, and 3 other guys who are not in the band anymore, but this was the first
The first
yeah,
lineup, right?
the first lineup, and we met up in summer 2006 and jammed the songs together, and we had so much fun that we decided to, yeah, let's do this style of music together, and from now on. And also, we love to be in this area. It was like an adventure because so many people there, other musicians, and
Yeah, get inspirations, right? To see each other
yes,
play.
yes, was awesome,
One of the old
and still
school
is. Yeah.
one of the old school things I remember seeing when I would watch documentaries about heavy metal and everything like that. Creator, your home guys, Creator was
Yes.
talking about back in the 80s there was no way to share music. So what they would do is they would send cassette tapes to
Yeah.
Brazil, to Sepultura. Sepultura would send it to Creator to exchange ideas, to see what's out there, right? But now we
Yeah.
have so many tools. As a musician, you have so many tools to spread your music, to find people, to connect. And it looks like you guys just vibed and connected very well.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. So it was like, yeah, we grew up with the internet, and we used it as far we were able to. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
especially when the first album came out, and yeah, we were about in the early 20s, and yeah, there was a lot of time to use and to promote and to network with other bands and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially in this time, we did a lot, and yeah, there was a lot of forward energy, just a lot of fire, and a lot
Fire.
of yeah,
Like creative juices flowing.
yeah, creative juices, and also like not that realistic dreams, like it's usual in the first time of a band, you know, like we started and wanted to be rock or heavy metal stars and just wanted to get out, but this energy was very helpful to come out of this very small town
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we came from, and yeah, it was also a lot of hard work, but we always did it when we really liked it. So if something feels forced, we don't like it very long. So then
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was actually gonna. That was actually gonna lead it. You kind of started tackling my next question. I was gonna lead it into another question. Is, you know,
yeah,
Germany in general is known to be one of the meccas for heavy metal, I would say. All right, it's
yes,
like you guys have Accept, Creator, Sodom, Gravedigger. There's so many bands that came out of Germany, and like the whole Teutonic thrash metal and everything like that. I was curious, how is it for a newer metal band in Germany or in the underground metal scene? I would imagine it's probably a good atmosphere to be in general in comparison to something, let's say, like Russia. I'm Russian myself.
yeah,
The scene is very young there, and there's still progress. There's very few bands that have made it on any kind of level, any kind of level.
yeah, yeah. It's like it it has like different levels. Not sure if this is the right word, but um, you know, in general, you're absolutely right. There are so much clubs, so much festivals. The scene is very big over here, and very well connected, and most of the people are very cool.
Yeah,
But you also have such scenes. They are like very like uh, they want to be in their own space, you
exclusive. They want to be
know.
exclusive and cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah. And
yeah,
this is a phenomenon. And on the other side, yeah, we have this very much going on in the scene.
yeah,
But prepared to Russia, um, there's like a high. Um, just wait a second.
sure, sure.
I have here the dictionary because my vocabulary is that small. But yeah, maybe is it the claim? You know,
Competition.
that there are so many concepts that the people are like very they are not that hungry anymore.
Yeah, yeah. They earned
Like
a
very
certain.
picky, very picky. You know,
Yeah,
because there's so much going on,
yeah.
and it does it still exists. But I think in the 80s, like you mentioned with Creator and all those bands, this was like a new wave, and they like a fight against the parents and society and stuff. And nowadays it's not that intense anymore, but there are still young people who discover this music like on a new way, and with a lot of passion and fire behind it. But I think it is on an other level, like maybe in countries like Russia,
Well, you know,
where
I think
it's
heavy metal in general, it's always been a very underground music, right?
yeah,
It's always been a music that's not for everybody. It's usually very extreme. It's like
yes,
I think I know
yeah,
what you're talking about. It's like the popular music is dominating, and I would say in the United States as well, even as big as heavy metal is here.
yeah,
I don't think heavy metal will never really be that like pop level commercial. It's just a different kind of music with a
mhm,
different kind of people, and I think to me that's always been the biggest draw why I like it so much, because it was still raw,
yeah,
it was still real, it was still hard.
yeah,
it wasn't commercialized.
Yes, absolutely. And in some way, it's in Germany and I think in the US also, it's in some way commercialized more than when it started. In the 80s, it was also, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But if I think about countries like yeah, like Africa, where's also a small metal scene, or like Syria,
yeah, yeah.
that you have this character of rebellion in the music, you know,
Yes,
when
yes, yes,
it's
yes.
real rebellion against the state, and it's very political, and that's what's getting more and more thin in Germany. It
Yes.
still exists, but it isn't that
Intense.
important anymore. Like in the 80s, like for Creator and Sodom and those bands, they were like yeah, they
They,
had
they were
this.
almost they were making like a stand, almost like a violent revolution
Yes,
creator. It's
yeah,
like stand against society, stand against
yeah,
the norm. Yeah, I know what you mean.
and they had this punk, still this punk attitude, you know,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and that's very important for us. So to do the music with an honest attitude.
I 100% agree. You can hear it in the music, I swear. It's like when you listen to one band, and I can like them, but it's like, this
Yeah,
is like commercial for the mainstream. This is what it's for. But
yeah,
then I'll see myself gravitate towards another band. It's like, it's just, I remember listening to Sepultura Refuse Resist the first time. It's like,
yes,
holy shit.
yeah,
It's
absolutely,
not a lot of lyrics, right? Very short, but just straight
yeah,
to the point, straight like this. It hits you
yes,
hard.
and it's even more brutal because of this. Yeah,
Yes, yes. And it actually it brings me to the next question I was going to ask is
yeah,
when I
all
was
right,
when I was listening to you guys, you know, it's like I'm trying to understand like what are they inspired by? I heard some Obituary, I heard some
yeah,
Demolition Hammer, I heard like some
correct.
Candlemass, uh,
Yeah, okay,
I heard some
yeah,
like
very cool.
I heard some Sodom. I'm like, holy, I hear the influences of your music, especially in the progressions of the albums. But I want to ask you directly, what kinds of bands were you guys inspired by? What was like the driving force for you?
Yeah, that's a hard question because we we are not often we not often have the same opinion about which bands we like or we are inspired by. So we're a bunch of very different guys, and maybe this is one reason for your finding so much influences or potential influences
Hmm.
in the music. But for me personally, Obituary definitely is a big influence and ever was. But in the early days, I remember this was this time of like metalcore started, and those bands. What was it called? New wave of American heavy metal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So especially Lamb of God. But big influences for the first album were Hatesphere. Hatesphere were always a very big influence. For a lot of years, it was one of my favorite metal bands, and they had a big influence because they did very brutal music, but still very groovy.
Yes, yes, yes.
And they had all styles I loved in there. It was they had a lot of death metal, a lot of thrash, and also this hardcore attitude, and that's what I loved about them. And also Legion of the Dead was a big influence in the early days.
That's funny. I just did a reaction to their song and I reached out to them and they responded
Yeah,
like, "Oh, that's awesome! You did a review of our song. So you want a T-shirt?"
cool.
I didn't expect that kind of interaction, but
Yeah,
it's like a, you know, in a concert it's very different. You go to a concert, you go home. That's it. It's like you never get to
yeah,
interact with these guys that you either inspired by or love
yeah.
them for their music. Like Exodus being one of my biggest bands I've loved all the time. And
Yes.
just to get a high five for one of them was just like, that's it, my night is done. I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah. Who was it you met from Exodus?
It was Rob Dukes when he was still doing the
Ah,
vocals.
my favorite singer in Exodus. Absolutely, he
Rob
was
Dukes.
like an animal on
Oh
stage.
my God, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it was the first concert I ever went to. and I was at the front of the concert, and it was in a place in New York where they like to mosh. And I'm this like 20-year-old kid that never went to a concert before.
Ooh, okay.
Fuck.
Yeah, all hell breaks loose. All right.
Yeah. And then later on, you get into it, and you start moshing, you start having fun. But in the first one, it's like, you get scared. That's
totally.
Cool.
But
Legion of the Damned, that's awesome.
Yeah, and as I told you, the Lamb of God was very. But for example, for our drummer Björn, he also loved bands like Gravedigger, Halloween, and our singer Pete, for example, he's more into bands like Amen Ra and Cult of Luna, New Roses, and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And Gojira is also nowadays a big influence. And our bassist Flo, he's a very big Gojira fan. And Philip, the other guitarist, he's the biggest Iron Maiden fan I know. So,
but in all honesty, who isn't?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our bassist Florian, he can't stand Iron Maiden.
Oh,
yeah. There are people out there.
There's people out there, right? You know what it is?
Not many.
Even listening to your music, I would listen to the first album. I really like the first album, and it has this like thrash and punk influence in it, kind of, right?
Yeah.
It has like this absolutely. Kind of. You go to the second album, and like I think it was By the Horns, completely different sound.
Yeah.
Go to the Marrow, it's a completely. I would say even in the last album is where I came up with this idea, Candlemass and like other doom metal. It has a lot of doom feeling to the album in the last to Cannibal Instinct, as well as the death metal and the thrash. It's kind of like I start seeing kind of an evolution in the band as well as you guys progress through the albums.
Yeah. On the one hand, it's the progression of the band, and on each album we had a new lineup. So some position changes, and this changes how the band works together and how it sounds. For us, it's definitely true, and and the influences are changing over the years and stuff like this. So with Cannibal Instinct, we that's true. It's the doomiest, and on the other hand, also punkiest album I think we did. So it's both of it.
Mixture of two,
and some songs are more in this world, and other more in this, and some are combined, and yeah.
You know what I really appreciated about you guys? When I was listening to it, I try to explain on my channel. I get a lot of people who get really pissed off because I'll say exactly how I feel about something. Right?
Okay.
Because I think we both come like I'm Eastern European, you're European. The mentality in Europe is just say what you mean.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's very straightforward.
It depends from
which country,
individual to individual. Yeah. From human being to human being, I think. But in general, I think it's
And you know what happened to me was when I listened to your band, like there's certain bands I listen to, and I have to logically think, this is good music, just because I'm not into it right now. I might not be in the mood. Like, for example, Obituary took me a very long time. I didn't like Lamb of God's vocals for a long time. For some reason, some things, I think they take time to marinate for you to connect with it. But then I listened to Volcanoes, and I listened to, like, the first album. After that, I just listened to the albums right away. I honestly didn't have to convince myself. I on an intuitive and emotional level, it was just like, oh, this is for me. Like, I don't have to explain why. I can't explain why. I just like it. And for me, it's usually the bands I tend to stick with the longest is the ones where I don't have to convince myself that I like them.
Yeah. Okay. I have to, I'm not sure if I know what convince means. I just will show it up. Yes. All right. Yeah. So you're like, I'm not sure, but you were into it just
right away.
Just this or no?
Like that.
Right away. Oh,
right away.
All right. Yeah.
Right
now
away.
I got it.
It's like this band's been that, especially in a doom metal genre, or even like a sludge or something. I don't know if you know Crowbar.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, totally.
Crowbar
I,
took me
I
a
love
little bit.
them.
They took me a little bit to get into. I couldn't understand
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what is this? And I listened to it a little bit more, marinated. I'm like, oh, I get it. I know why this is good, and I got into it.
yeah, yeah,
But for some reason, I think just because I like thrash metal and death metal so much, when I've heard, especially the first album, and as I progressed through the albums, I started hearing this like evolution. I just got into it automatically. I thought, like, this is fucking awesome. This is a great find. This is the reason I started the channel, to discover new music, and I
yeah.
discovered something that I like.
Ah, very nice. Yeah, yeah. That's how it has to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. Very, very cool. And I think you did like the first album. Like it's a special one for you.
It's the one, I went chronologically. I wanted to kind of hear
Yeah,
chronologically what was happening to the music.
yeah.
And yeah, I liked the groovy, thrashy sound of it very much so.
Yes, yes.
I of course, thrash metal can't be without punk metal. That's a direct
Yeah, yeah.
inspiration for it. But I also love the difference in sound when you come to by the horns, and I to the marrow. Like,
Mhm.
it's very different. It's a very different
Very
sound,
different. Yeah.
and I like all the difference. It's almost like I can. Oh, I'm in more of a thrash mood today. I'm gonna go to this album.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm more of in this mood today. I'm gonna go to this album. They all offer something a little bit
Uh-huh.
different,
Yeah.
which for me was like perfect. I like it.
So you don't prefer the sound of the one album more than the other?
Not necessarily. No, I'm very moody.
Yeah.
It's where I'm like in the mood for. There's days when you want to listen to Nile and speed metal and just like destroy your ears, and there's other
Yes.
days you want to put on Black Sabbath and just kind of relax a little bit more and ease up. And
Yeah.
for me, it's
All right.
very an emotional level where I'm at.
Yeah.
If I
All right.
if
All
I want
right.
to if I want to punch somebody in the face, I'll go for thrash, man.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. It's very similar how I listen to music. Yeah.
And in terms of, do you guys tour just in Europe at the moment? Do you guys tour internationally, or like when right before all of this happened?
Um, yeah. We mostly toured in Germany,
Germany.
and we had some. We did play like Austria and Switzerland and like the neighbor countries.
Neighboring country.
Yeah, Poland and Czech Republic
All
and
big fans of metal. All big fans.
yeah, totally. But this we did a tour in this Balkan route,
Balkan, yeah.
and it was very hard. It was very hard because the shows they weren't there were not so much people showing up, but it was like yeah, just like a challenge, like learn to yeah, how it feels like to be on the road, and to it's not totally satisfying every evening,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but after all we just had a good time. And the best gig, best two shows we ever played was in Turkey, in Istanbul and Ankara.
Yeah, yeah.
That was very special, and yeah, yeah, nearly the best shows we ever played. Yeah.
I don't think a lot of fans understand. Well, for example, why I never ever will shit on any band ever is because, like, on an intuitive level, I understand. My God, what a band has to go through to get
Yes.
to first of all, from touring in front. I mean, when I go to concerts, I come to see every band,
Yeah.
because sometimes you might discover something you never heard before. That's how I
Yeah.
discovered Warbringer. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yeah, of course, love them.
I
Yeah,
discovered them in
totally.
their first concert, at their first album they released in 2007. That's how I discovered them. I listened to them. There was like 20 people standing there. Nobody's
Yeah.
listening to them. It's like it's
Yes.
tough. It's like they're just using the opportunity to hone their craft, to get better,
Yeah.
to perform better, to play better live, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's tough. A lot of people I don't think they really realize how tough it is for any musician, and how much time you have to give it before any momentum starts shifting your way.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely true. And if you if you don't get this passion to do this, then it's not, that doesn't make much sense. Because then you will be depressed every time, and it's, you know, if you are going on stage and you have a good time just playing this music, and if there's just 5 people in the audience, doesn't matter. That's the right attitude to do this like for years, you know. And for us, because we had connections to a big city or everything, to like a big network, we just did it very little steps, very little, step by step. And yeah, and so we needed like 12 years to have the first very big tour. It wasn't a big tour, but the clubs were like 300 to 500 people, and it was with a German newcomer band, Dust Bowl. I don't know if you know them.
I know Dust Bowl. I've heard of them. Yeah.
Thrash metal band. They already toured US together with Power Trip and Obituary.
Power Trip is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so it took us this long, and it's not most of the time not that easy to organize such a tour, because everyone is working in the band. We have our regular jobs,
of course,
and not that much free time, and so yeah, it's always like a big fight. But from the first day on, we decided like we want to do this with 100%, and like with 100% of passion. And our first bassist, for example, he's a very good guy, definitely, but he had some times when he said, I can't come to rehearsal today because I have to play football. You know, he was like in a football team, but this was a point for me. I said, no, it has to be the band 100%, and don't say I have no time for rehearsal because I have to play football. That was in my world, that was like just
well, it's
no go.
It's a sacrifice. The way I can understand, it's different. I'm a personal trainer myself, and for me, everything is built up by yourself in loneliness. Like, you have to work and sacrifice and give time, because whatever energy you give that's what you get back. And I think in music it's the same way. That whatever energy you give it, whatever effort you give it, and what amount of time and sacrifice you put into it, that's the only way you're going to get anything back from it.
Yes. Yeah, and it's totally okay to have a band and play in a soccer team at the same time. But if this is like, if you get the feeling it is not it's not on the right level for that what we decided to want to do with the band, then it doesn't really fit. So, but we also had to learn this over the years, because we started and as totally fucked up guys. We just were there to we wanted to play music, and we did a lot of party and stuff.
Of course.
And we were not very good at playing our instruments, and it changed after our second bassist joined the band, and he was like much older than the rest. And by the way, he's the one who wrote the song Volcanoes. So, and it's like our biggest success. And yeah, he had a lot of he told us how to play tight together, how you have to work as a band together, and that was a very special time. We learned a lot from this man, and he's still a very good close friend to the band. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah.
You know what I was gonna say when you said one thing. You said football.
Yes.
German,
Yeah.
the German team is my favorite.
Okay, you mean soccer, right?
Mm,
Or,
that's how they say it in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Russia, everywhere we say football.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's the same in Germany.
I know exactly what you meant. I'm like, yeah, the German team, my whole family, we cheer them on every single time because we like how they play.
All right, yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Not in the European Cup this year, but you know.
Yeah, but yeah, that's okay.
That's okay.
They also need they also need to learn. Always to be the first one is not very good. So
Yeah. That's how you get better.
you know what I would say.
But you know, I think that's basically all the questions I want to ask you. Get an idea of kind of, first I want to give people the chance to see somebody who might not know you, might have never heard of you on this channel, because I know I have a lot of people who listen to like Nightwish and thrash metal, power metal, but to just show them something different as well, and just give them a glimpse into the life of what it's like to be a musician, especially when they're trying to break through to that next level, right? To the and I sincerely want to tell you guys that I really hope to see you one day in New York, so I can come out and support you as well.
That would be awesome. Would be absolutely awesome. You know, we always dreamt about to tour the US or just play a few concerts. And yeah, if there will be a chance someday, we definitely do it.
Well, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you the Russian way. There's a Russian saying, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
They say is like, somebody tells you, "Good luck. Let your road be as soft as the clouds, and as soft as the clouds." And your response in Russian is "To hell with it," meaning I don't need luck. I will get there.
Yeah.
I wish I wish that for you guys. I wish to see you in New York, not just one show. I'm talking about 20 shows, and really making out there. And now you know you have a fan for life here.
Very cool, man. I appreciate that.
Thanks a lot,
very
man.
much. Thank you.